Hi guys, welcome to Laura's World, or back to Laura's World, I should start saying, right? I am getting ready to talk to a girl from Michigan, Mandy. She's got this cool Instagram page and Facebook page called Recovery with Mandy, and she makes me laugh. She's so great. She's got some time under her belt. I just want to talk to her about what she's, you know, what inspires her, what interests her. She put some really great things up there, and we had a discussion last week about having a drunk dream, and I haven't had one in a while, but they used to flip me out, and I think I want to talk to her about that. You know what? If you haven't already checked out the page, please do follow us on Laura's World on Instagram, and the link is in the bio for this YouTube page. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit that little dingy thing in the corner, the little bell, so that you get all of the notifications of when we put new ones up.
Hi.
Oh my God, I freaking love you so much. You make me laugh so hard. I'm like, oh my God, I have somebody else that is exactly like me. I love it. I'm not crazy unless the both of us are, and that's all right too. Tell me a little bit about what it was like for you.
I actually got sober because and it's funny because I actually had this conversation with my mom. You know, my parents are a huge support for me. And they knew like what was going on with me, like, probably before I did.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
And I used to get very defensive at that, and like I just so, I grew up in a very healthy household. So the fact that like I became an addict, or, became one of them is one of the terminologies I heard, was kind of like a little off the charts. It was like, what? Because I had my whole life planned out. I had a full ride to college. I'm a singer, so like that I had a full ride. I was going to Nashville, and I had plans, big plans.
Wow.
And I ended up dropping out of college. I had something that I made a choice, and because of that choice, it spiraled into I wanted to find something to make me feel good. And so obviously I self-medicated and kept finding more and more and more and more and more. And then I got into recovery because truly I had an overdose. My son was actually 7 when I put him to bed, and I went to dye my hair. And I don't know why he woke up. I have no idea, but I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for him. I went to wash the hair dye out of my hair, and ended up overdosing in the bathtub. And so Mason is my son's name. He actually came in at age 7 and found me, and he shut the water off before I drowned. And I remember looking up at that face, and that scared face that I had not protected in 7 years. I mean, I just remember him asking, what do I do? And, the street smart in me was like, don't call the police. I don't have anybody else involved, it's just me. And I knew that he would be placed in the care. I mean, I still had I don't know why I had something like a wit about me still. I had something in me that was like, don't call the police, like he'll go into custody with somebody else.
Right.
I ended up, my mom actually tells it differently than what I remember. But I go by what she says because she was sober and I was not. So, I fractured my femur on the way down when I fell. So, the very next day I went and got more drugs from the hospital because I was out of all of my street stuff, and I just continued. I mean, that didn't stop me, I basically had accepted that I was going to die. And when you get to that point where you accept that you are just living to survive, you're not even living, you're just surviving. And each day you wake up, it's like, oh, cannot believe you woke me up for another day of this crap, like really? It's a full-time
no, I
job.
get it. Absolutely. It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. So I went to detox for,
Okay.
for 6 days. And my mom actually said that I had asked for help. She came and removed my son from my home, and I went to detox for 6 days. My dad took me, and then I went to residential. I went to a 14-day program. While I was there on my first day, I found out I had 8 felony warrants out for my arrest, and that they were looking for me. So I called back home, and we live in a very small town. I made a phone call home. The sheriff told me to finish my program, and to turn myself when I came, when I got home. And so I did. I put everything into that, knowing that I was going to do a lot of time, and very well prison for some of the charges, that I had incurred while under the influence. They asked me 2 questions in rehab, and it was, what do you want out of this recovery wise? Like, what is your goal? And I said, I want to be a good mom, and I want to be a productive member of society. And being a good mom was something I had never done. I had a great example by my own mother, but again, we are raising kids in a different world as well. So, and I had damaged him so deeply. I stole his childhood. I literally ripped it right from him. So that mom guilt, immediately was like something that I wanted to work on. So that's what I dove into. And I still have it, I still have that guilt of, things that I have done in the past. And, I don't think that ever goes away, but, those things keep me humble, to be quite honest, because it's a reminder of, I don't ever want that life.
You don't want that life anymore.
No.
I do the same. Both of my children are in their 30s now. And but when I think back on what I put them through, it's soul crushing, soul crushing. And I know that I can't get that time back, but what we can do is better each day. And I've built really healthier relationship with them, and I cherish every moment I get to spend with them. What they call the living amends. We can't fix what we did, but we can continue to set a good example. So I feel you on that guilt. Ugh, it's heavy.
It is. That's a good word for it. It's intense and heavy. It is so, and it's so raw. It's like a fresh Band-Aid. It doesn't matter how many years go by, there is always that twinge of something that will come up.
After the 2 weeks, after you told them what you wanted from recovery, did you jump into it right away, or did you think that was something that you were not going to be able to do? It was like a wishful thinking thing, or what do you think that was all about?
I wanted recovery. Because we went to meetings every night. And I know that people don't, meetings were what did it for me. And I know everybody.
Me too.
Different,
Yes.
So, and I respect anyways, that does it, but meetings really did it for me. And in rehab, we went to meetings, and I remember looking around at these people and like thinking, what is it that they like? How are they living life sober and like laughing? Like those are real laughs. Like,
real laughs. Yeah. I thought it was full of shit. Yeah.
I did too. And I was like, they're like hiding something, like there's something shady. Nobody's just that happy without drugs or alcohol. So I couldn't imagine a life, of sobriety. I do remember, I wanted to be this productive member. When it really hit home though, like when I kind of realized that, like, and I call it the click, when I finally like realized that I had like something clicked was when I turned myself in afterwards. So I completed rehab successfully, and I went and turned myself in, bonded myself out, and then I went to court and I went to jail. When I was sitting in jail, we cleaned the cells at night, and there was a CO in there, and he actually said to me, we were cleaning, the cells at night, and he's like standing there watching, and he says, like, why did you go to rehab before you came here? And it didn't even, I literally was like, why do people come here before they go to rehab? And then it was like that, I call them God wink moments. That was my God wink moment. It was like, oh, you're in recovery, Mandy. Look at you, you're doing this. And it was that moment that it was like, okay. And I knew what was in store. And I put pen to paper in a jail cell of amends and things that I had done, and hello and goodbye letters again, and it was just, I dove into the big book and back into even my Bible, and devotionals. Started to pay some people back and make amends, and stop into stores that I had stolen from. That was that productive member of society. I was court ordered to 3 meetings a week. And so I did my due diligence. I paid my dues. I should be sitting in prison for 30 years. And by the grace of God, I'm sitting here talking with you. I started a Facebook recovery page. And
Recovery with Mandy.
it was actually Take My Will in My Life, Guide Me in My Recovery. And then it was Recovery with the Franklins. And now it's been Recovery with Mandy. I went to recovery coach training, which was like a week of training. I work in the mental health field with co-occurring substance use. So therefore, I work with substance use disorders and people that are struggling. Basically what I do is I legit just go and do life with them. That's it. I literally come up beside them wherever they're at in their journey, and I do life with them. Whether it's get them to treatment, whether it's helping them go give blood because they've been an IV user, and doctors don't listen to them, like this vein will roll. Use this one, or grocery shopping, because the thought of going past the booze aisle to get a bag of chips is like so overwhelming, going to meetings. But basically it's just have somebody that doesn't refer to detox as flu-like symptoms. Yeah.
Wow. How rewarding does it feel?
It's a mixture of both. It is rewarding it's not rewarding for me. It's more for them. Like I get so excited about recovery. Like I have such a passion for it because I've lived the life of death, now I'm alive and I want like everybody to see that I'm alive, and thriving. I'm not just alive, I'm thriving, I'm doing well. And in the midst of chaos and distress and everything, the only thing I know how to do right in this world, if there's anything, is stay sober. That's it. And that's my only job. Everything else falls into place, So rewarding it's a great word. I feel the reward and the accomplishment and the pride that they feel, because they customize their own journey, whatever that looks like for them. And it's beautiful. It can be beautiful. It's also heart-wrenching. I've lost, several people to overdose when I literally have just talked to them the night before. And I think that it's part of the nature of our disease. But when I work for, like I said, a place that also makes sure that you are okay, So like when there's things like that happen, like they let you process it properly. I also go to therapy, which I recommend to everybody. Like literally, I'm like,
I hear you. Yeah.
Go get your shit figured out. Okay.
Absolutely.
If you don't get the underlying issue, it will just keep resurfacing, it's like that merry-go-round that you never can get off of, it never slows down long enough, So, yeah, it is rewarding. But it is also, there are some days I don't want to talk recovery. And, like right now I have some stuff in my own personal life that is, not has not been easy, and so when you have a loved one that goes back out and is using, and you can't save them, because that's what we do, right? We go into that I'm going to save you mode. Like, look at me, I'm
Because
sober.
I know what to do. This is what you're gonna do. Yeah.
That is the nature of that. That literally is the epitome of our disease, is that I had to come to grips with this, like literally accepting and preparing myself for the phone call, literally preparing any day, you know what I mean? And like I said, accept that, that I was going to get a phone call that they were dead, and that is, I mean, nobody should ever have to prepare for that, but that is, like I said, that's the epitome of what addiction does. It doesn't give two shits who is
Yeah.
who is around. It doesn't matter. Everybody plays whether they want to or not. And it's a waiting game. It's literally just a suicide mission on an installment plan, that we wait for. And it's heartbreaking. And sometimes you just want to shake them and say, like, do you not see how good this is? Like, do you not see that we do recover? Like all the slogans. But somebody went to me, once and did that, and I didn't want to hear any of it.
I didn't
And
either. I was just
yeah,
gonna say I didn't either. I didn't believe them. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like
yeah,
you don't know me. I got a whole different story. You know what I mean? We're not the same. You
yeah.
know?
I haven't hit your bottom yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But whatever. I'm different. I'm so unique. When I could feel somebody's heart, when I could feel, I know that pain. I know what that feels like. So somebody is at that point. Oh man, I don't know.
I totally get it. That pain is like
Mm,
indescribable.
yeah.
And to a lot of people that don't or might not understand what that pain actually, like, I remember just like looking in the mirror and literally hating the person I seen. I didn't care if she lived, died. I literally didn't care because I hated the person that looked back at me.
Yeah. I
I
never
was
looked in
just
the mirror.
ashamed.
Never.
Yeah.
I would like, go by and just, yeah, never, 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 never.
I find that with a lot of people in recovery, that when they talk about that, like they either hid their mirrors or like put it over. And to be honest with you, I don't remember like even doing my hair much. You know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
that requires looking in the wearing
Looking,
makeup.
yeah.
Yeah, any of that.
Say, I don't know if God brought me to AA or AA brought me to God, but I'm grateful for both, that I have both in my life now, because I I'm just grateful every single morning that I wake up and I'm like, wow. And I really wanted to end it. I really did. And I did. I attempted suicide more than once. Once when I was like 15, and then in my addiction, because I was just like, I just don't care. I just don't care. And I truly thought that if I did that, nobody would care, because I was such a fuck up anyway. So
Yeah.
they'd be better off without me. And well, I'm here. It didn't work, but I got mad. I was like, I can't even this right. Like I really was mad.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm just so glad that it didn't happen, obviously. And that I did find a much softer, easier way to live. And doesn't matter how far down we go, it does not matter. You can always turn around and do something for the good.
Always.
Always, always, always.
Daily. You can always turn it around. Daily.
Oh,
Turn it around.
oh my God, Mandy, thank you so much for doing this. I really feel like we're kindred spirits. I feel like
Yeah.
we've known each other for a really long time. And I love that. And I love what you're doing. Keep on doing what you're doing, because it's so inspiring. And I get I get little notifications. Mandy's going live, and that's why I like jump on. So I'm not stalking you.
No, I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Please continue sobriety, continue everything that you're doing, the path that you're on. But I hope that you continue to inspire people like me, because you truly do. You truly do. And keep doing that
Uh-huh.
important work that you're doing. I know it can be really hard on your heart and soul sometimes, but it is so important. And I am glad that I met you.
I'm so thankful for you. Thank you so much for having me on here. I
Anytime, I know.
adore you.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
I'll
I'll
talk
see
to
you
you soon.
soon.
Okay. Mwah.